So I know myself and Culture have watched this. Nick, have you watched Joker 2 or not? I don't think you have yet.
Hell no.
No.
I
Did
was
you watch?
I was not interested in this film as soon as I heard the concept and Lady Gaga was gonna be back in it. But I was like, you know what? Maybe it's actually gonna be good. I'm gonna wait until
no,
I
it's
hear
terrible.
some of the reviews,
Awful.
and then I heard about it, and I was like, nope.
Awful movie. Well, me and Culture have, so we can sort of talk about this. So you guys can sort of chip in. This was apparently an interview that was done at the press junket before Joker 2, but interestingly enough, was released yesterday as the hate has grown for Joker 2. That's a long time to wait before releasing this interview, and I reckon that's because a publicist told them to release it. This is IGN, renowned for doing things shillingly.
Well,
for studios and stuff.
Hey, at least we know that their rating of the film is a 7.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, so this convenient timing, and essentially most people is aware that this movie hates itself and hates the fans, and it's pretty obvious that is the case. Most people know that, like, it's very, very obvious, and that's seemingly the sort of rhetoric from all outlets, right? Like you see here, Variety says basically stuff like that. The villains are the fans of the villains of the sequel. THR, fans say Joker 2 is a betrayal. It's pretty obvious. Well, not according to Todd Phillips, but also maybe a little bit. I don't know. It's like gaslighting to the extreme. So IGN asked him, I'm watching the film and I'm struck by the fact that this is somebody who's essentially a newfound celebrity dealing with a following and a fandom that they didn't necessarily think they'd ever get. Todd Phillips replies, they didn't sign up for it. They didn't ask for it. Now, I distinctly remember the ending of Joker, Arthur Fleck absolutely loving the adulation that he was getting. He adored it. He's got blood on his face. He's out there in the crowd. He's smiling. He's put his hands up. He's like, I feel I belong now. Right? That was the end of Joker, wasn't it? Am I wrong? Pretty certain that was the end. He loved what he was receiving from the streets, from the people coming out in celebration of him. Am I mistaken?
No.
So what's this bollocks? He didn't sign up for it. He didn't ask for it.
It seems like he wanted it that whole first film and loved it and enjoyed it once he got it.
He wanted to be accepted, right? And he got accepted.
Yep.
Just a man that this is pretty big gaslighting.
Yeah. These things don't need to make sense, do they? Quite often, the people that are doing this, they don't care if it really makes sense.
They don't care if it's good. I can't blame Todd Phillips 1,000%, but I can blame him 999% because he didn't want to make the film. I mean, he was on record as like, no, we don't need a sequel. No, we're not going to make a sequel. And again, Warner Brothers was backing up a Brinks truck. And if you have a relationship with a studio that you're trying to maintain, so they'll make another one of your films, you give them one. This was the worst give I've ever seen in my life. Right? Studios usually, when they have a good relationship with a writer director, it's one for you, one for me. One for you, one for me. I mean, that's kind of what Clint Eastwood kind of negotiated back when, he had his studio deal. So, one for you, one for me. And this one was definitely one for the studio, and he didn't want to make it at all. And it reflects in every way for this film. Sorry, I'm just, getting
Well, there's more to get to. So let's get. There's more interesting stuff as well. That is only like a small, bizarre comment. So IGN goes, and so then is this film, in a way, kind of a commentary on fan entitlement or even toxic fandom? Fucking, I hate IGN. You're just wankers. Phillips goes, not so much that, to be honest with you. But one of the things that we always thought about the first movie, or one of the things I definitely said enough in defending the first movie when it needed to be defended, because people said it's irresponsible, its use of violence. And I always saw it quite literally the opposite. I thought it was responsible because it was showing the actual real-world effects of violence. It wasn't glamorizing gun use in my mind. It was actually showing, oh my God, this is brutal. And I think the reality of it maybe is what turned people off, the people that were turned off. One of the things we try to continue with here is the same idea as, to me, a really important scene in the movies when he's cross-examining the little guy, Gary. Why? Because it's showing you the real-world effects of trauma on a person who witnessed it, right? Even beyond just witnessing something horrible. What does that do to you? You know what I mean? It's 2-3 years later in the movie, and Gary still says he can't sleep, and he still wasn't able to go back to work. These effects of violence was something we really wanted to kind of, at least that scene addresses some part of it, but not so much toxic fandom, honestly, but it's a good idea. Now, like, reading between the lines there, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he ends with saying, oh, that's a good idea. Not so much toxic fandom, but that's a good idea. It almost sounds, to me, it almost sounds like he is still saying that he's annoyed with the people that like the movie, right? Because he's saying, the movie was about violence, and we wanted to show people the real world harm of violence, which, yeah, I mean, it did. Like, the movie, I really like Joker. I think Joker is a really, really good film. And I think they got the wrong end of the stick. The filmmakers, Hollywood, the bleeding heart lefties got the wrong end of the stick of why people liked it. They seem to think that, I reckon anyway, they seem to think that people, they hate the people that liked it because they think the people that liked it like it because they believe it glamorizes violence, which is not the case at all. The sort of examination of society, the one bad day, what can occur, and things like that. Most people sort of, enjoyed it from that perspective. But I just think all of this is quite telling, how he focuses on the violence, and it wasn't glamorizing it. We didn't want to do that. We really wanted to show that this was harmful. We wanted to continue that into the second movie. And it's like, okay, so, but if that was the intention behind the first movie, you wouldn't feel the need to do that in the second movie again, unless you thought the people that liked it didn't understand the first movie. So it still feels like a spit in the face, even what he's saying now, to the people that enjoyed the first movie. If that, I don't know if that sort of resonates with anyone else there, but thoughts on his commentary there?
I mean, I agree with what you just said. I don't got a whole lot to add, but I will say this real quick. He shouldn't be involved in any sequels of any kind whatsoever.
He said he's done with DC.
Yeah, and because The Hangover, which is also producer for, they got worse with every single one. They should have just stopped with that first Hangover film, because that first one was effing hilarious. But yeah, he should just stay away from sequels.
It does seem to me that it's very deliberate. When you look at, for example, I think I mentioned this before, but the 300 sequel, or as we said earlier in the stream, that they would deliberately go for something like Gillette or Budweiser. It seems very deliberate. No, the first Joker film was something that straight white dudes liked. So that's exactly the thing we're going to now subvert. It seems to me, I might be wrong. I might be being paranoid, but
no, honestly,
I don't think so. I don't think
movie.
So.
Right. There's even the implication that Arthur Fleck gets butt violated as well.
Right.
But honestly, it's terrible. This film's awful. It is so bad. Everything you think they could do that's bad, they do it, and more, and even more. It's awful. It's a terrible film. Truly terrible.
Yeah. How do you really feel about it?
I could say so much worth that, I'm sure. What do you reckon of the comments and culture? Because you've seen it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Plus, I now have a screener. And just to clarify, just to clarify my position.
No, but do you have a screener link?
I have a copy of the film.
Send it to Bo.
Why would I do that? I like Bo.
I want to hear Bo's rant on it. It'd be funny.
Fair enough.
The amount that would cost in postage and packaging, it's not fair. It's not fair to ask. No,
just an email link nowadays.
Yeah.
It's digital.
All right. I'm thinking of actually posting a VHS That's how behind
Digital
the
age,
times I
mate.
am.
We're in the digital age.
Posting a DVD
Yes,
in the
you know
post.
what?
Trying to
I'm
get
going
it.
to
That's
I'm
all.
going to take the time to take this digital copy that I have, and I'm gonna put it onto a VHS tape, and I'm gonna mail it to you.
I've actually
Yes.
got a VHS player in the loft somewhere. I'll
I
dig it
believe
out.
You do. I believe you do.
Brilliant.
I've still got all the police academies on VHS somewhere up there.
Okay, you are a man
Because-
of taste. You are a man of taste and style. You're a good man.
So comments, any other on the comments name?
Thank you.
Good. But anyway, IGN continued further, says, I'm just thinking the idea of, look, the fans want Joker. They can't necessarily deal with Arthur. And I'm wondering he got fans that show up cosplaying as him. And they're basically like, give us Joker, give us the Clown Prince of Crime. And Phillips was like, yeah, that's right. It reminds me of the fans like, give us Batman, give us the Clown Prince, all that sort of thing. And Phillips is like, yeah, I guess you're right. You can see IGN are really trying to push it. And IGN goes, and you guys are pushing back like, no, I'm just Arthur. And Phillips goes, yeah, that's right. That is in the movie, but it was never about addressing toxic fandom. But it was about addressing this idea of what happens if this thing gets put upon you, like we were saying just 5 minutes ago. But it's not actually what you are. And then what happens in the worst case scenario if you finally find love in your life, or you think you do, but that person is in love with the character that you represent, not the person that you are. That is not in the movie. That is not in the movie. It's just, you watch both movies back to back, you'd be like, you'll have a brain aneurysm explode or something. Like, it's such a weird 180. So bizarre.
All right.
I mean, it is one
The
of those
culture's
films
like, what?
I will be making really no effort. I mean, even if I was switching channels on TV one evening and I see it, I almost certainly won't bother giving it a whirl. I know what it is, right? I know what it's supposed to do, and I'm not interested. It's why I block leftists on Twitter. I'm not interested in any sort of back and forth, any conversation. I don't want any sort of dialogue with you. No, I want you cut out like a cancer, cut out and put in a bin. Right? So
you can't block them all, mate. There's some funny takes from some people on Twitter.
my block list is massive.
Takes.
I block
it. Beth Rigby recently tweeted, "Oh, Keir Starmer, he's very strong on the Falklands. He said his uncle almost got torpedoed in it." It's like, no British ship was torpedoed, mate.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds like a Waltz statement. The guy that's
journalist, not doing journalist things. Like, what are you doing, you moron?
Yeah, the Belgrano got torpedoed.
Huge.
We torpedoed an RG ship.
No. Keir Starmer's uncle almost died because his ship was torpedoed. All right.
Okay. Oh, well.
Keir Starmer said that in Houses of Parliament.
Okay. There's a couple of Exocets, but they're not torpedoes. So, but no, it's on Hansard now. It's a matter of record. Okay.
No, mate. His honestly, his uncle almost died.
Can you guys explain to me why the people in Parliament over there still wear the funny wigs?
That's
only
Parliament.
Only the speaker wears the wig.
Oh, is that what it is?
Our judges, though, in a Crown Court, the judges wear wigs and the barristers. And I haven't got a great answer for you other than that it's simply tradition. And they're very, very conservative with a small c and just haven't changed the rules since the 18th century.
We
got
about that.
You know, that was very nice saying that they have a small c.
Very unkind. Kevin Apollo for $9.99 says, blow hundreds of millions of dollars to own or lecture the chuds. Why haven't heads rolled at Warner Brothers Discovery? And modern audience is the launch code for destroying an IP.
Mate,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, but let me just make the argument that the head's already rolled. Because nobody that was there that made that thing go forward is there anymore. So, yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, but there's mythical modern audience, but it doesn't exist. It hasn't
It's just code
existed.
for woke audience.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's just insane. It's actually insane.
There must be.
Kalechi,
I was just going to say there must be a bottom to the barrel, though, of sacrificing money for ideology.
You would
You know,
think so.
if you look at the example of, say, the Soviet Union, where they sacrificed the truth and social cohesion for ideology, eventually there's a bottom to that barrel.
yeah.
Eventually, you cannot take it any further. All the companies that are engaged in this will go bust, and that's it.
Well, they're starting to get there. They are starting to get there.
Yeah, just how long will that take? Yeah.
Well, it's bizarre, isn't it? Like Hollywood just doesn't seem to understand is that it's not a product that is an essential. It's not an essential product. So if you're not going to make something which people actually want to watch, you're fucked. Like you're like I can just not watch stuff. Like I don't care. That's fine. I'm all right. Hollywood's not all right when I do that though. Like and if people do that en masse, well, they're done. So like they've got to learn at some point. Surely it's just when
And we're always told if you don't like it, don't watch it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We won't. And then the shows and movies and sequels and all that sort of stuff get canceled. So,
you got to ask yourself, at what point are they going to figure out that that's not the best marketing line that they have?
Yeah, it's the worst.
So funny.
I'm just
so funny. I do love it though. It is a funny marketing line. It wasn't made for you. Yeah, all right then. I don't watch it, mate. Don't you worry about it.
Ooh, yeah, cool.
Go touch
Fine.
grass.
Let me know when you do make something for me.
Yeah.
I probably won't watch that either, but yeah, all right. Kate Jokey says, you think anybody is going to cosplay this Joker anymore?
Nope.
No. You will see more cosplays for the Juggalo Joker played by Jared Leto than you're going to see Arthur Fleck out there, kids. Yeah. If somebody wears the Arthur Fleck costume, they are frigging lazy. They just happen to have it from last Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there we go.